Right. Final Fantasy XIV Heavensward, patch 3.0. Retrospectively, I kind of wish I'd done this for 2.0 as well. But we're going to do this for 3.0. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click that. We're going to watch the Heavensward trailer just to get us pumped and excited, and because it's awesome.
Peggy 16.
And it also contains spoilers. Spoiler warning. If you're following this on straight after the 2.x stuff, there's no spoilers here, but artistic interpretation of events coming up. However, fate has cast down these heroes, and their light now threatens to fade. Here we are, the snows of Kurthus, and walking along is the Derplander, as he is more commonly known. The generic male warrior of light figure. And this amazing piece of music. It's the Gates of Judgment. So these are the events at the end of 2.55. Here's our Warrior of Light running like fuckery. That goblet again. Poor Nanamo. Ugh. Raban's arm. Interestingly, Ilberd is not there. As there's nothing I can do. Just run the hell away. But if that wasn't epic enough, let's have some more epic, shall we? Oh shit! I love the fact that the way we actually take off the cloak is it just gets burned off. Whew. Nothing we can do from down here though. I didn't actually notice the first time I watched this, but those are dragoons shooting through the sky. It's not just some random things being shot at it. You can actually see the dragoons on its back. Yes, people do actually wear the hats in game. His axe that is used all the way through 2.x. And the Sea of Clouds. We've heard about the Sea of Clouds several times, but this is the first time we realise it. There are literally islands up in it. There's the Enterprise. And Sid spotting some things that are not great. That's one of the dungeons in the background, some Al. There's Lolovito, sneering, and Raban not looking at his best, and also not very happy. So yes, how sweet is that? I love that cinematic. It's so it's epic. It's got to be epic. It's designed to get you interested in an expansion. It's designed to get you pumped, and I think it pretty much does that. Okay, let's get some actual game music back on. Since the last episode, I have fantasiaed. So once you take a look at Demajen now, she's wearing exactly the same clothes, but she is no longer an Aurora. I'd had enough of the slightly wide face and the somewhat awkward run animation. So we fantasiaed. And in fact, because I was feeling a little bit nostalgic after playing 2.0, what I did was and probably help if I take off this, wouldn't it? Let's get some game footage. There we go. What we've got here. This is Demajen 1.0. This is what she looked like in the base game 1.0. You could actually import your characters from 1.0 to 2.0, and so I did. And this is what she looked like. That being said, you could remake them, and I did also do that for my main. She turned into a Highlander, but this is the default, if you like, Demajen Thornley from way back when. I don't think I've made any real alterations to her whatsoever. She's still got this slightly daft eyebrows. She's still got the slicked back hair. But you'll also notice that she's got a much better and more chiselled face than the somewhat blubbery, I find, unfortunately, Aurora that we've been working with. So I don't know how long I'm going to stream this for. Because what I suspect I will do, as much as I have enjoyed playing as Paladin, it is quite possible that I will switch to Dark Knights. It's possible that I've forgotten to change her voice. That might annoy me. Fortunately, I do have a second Fantasia if necessary to go and fix that. But I've just gone with the default. So anyway, let's start Heavensward. Going to Asgard. We can't go to Asgard until we've got this done. And you'll notice that instantly we've got a big chunk of XP from these quests, of course, which will get doubled because we've still got the road to 60 on. Now, I haven't done any of these since 2015. Not like the early stuff on Kitty, my alt, that I've done a lot of Realm Reborn stuff on.
The dawn's light will shine again.
You'll also notice straight away that they have changed the voice actors.
So long as we have these specious accusations hanging over us, we will struggle to achieve anything.
For the better.
You must go to Asgard, as Tataru proposed. I will return to Uldar and set things right.
And they've also changed the pronunciation of Uldar slightly.
Pray, do not be so hasty, Master Elfino.
Lord Orchefon.
Full well do I understand your desire to clear your names. But now is not the time for drastic action. You yet have allies upon whom you can rely. There is no need to act alone.
Yes. Yes, of course. Pray forgive my impatience.
I bring tidings. Count Edmond has decreed that the three of you be taken in as wards of House Fortin. Under our patronage, you shall be granted access to the city proper.
So we will be allowed to go to Ishgard.
Pray, consider our manor your new headquarters, from which you may gather information and plan how best to proceed. Needless to say, should any of your missing allies be found, as I am certain they shall, they will of course be welcome to join you there.
Lots of nodding.
You are more than generous, my friend. On behalf of my fellows, I humbly accept your offer of hospitality.
The Count is a good man and just. He will treat you with the kindness and respect that a hero and dear friend deserves.
To Ishgard, then. Together. There we shall carry on the Scion's legacy. There we shall begin anew.
Here, here!
So... Oh, we need to talk Ffxiv first. I must go on ahead and speak with the Count. Fear not, however, for everything has been arranged. The sentries at the gates of judgment have been informed of our decision. You need but state your names, and they will allow you to pass. My manservant shall be waiting for you at the city gates, ready to escort you to our manor, where we shall meet again. Until then... So, here we go. To Ishgard. So we've been to the gates of judgment a few times now, but this is the first time that we will be allowed to pass through them. Is it just me? Is rock always up these days? Do, 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 do. And yes, this is the gate guard. Wards of House Fortin. Ah, yes, you may pass. Here we go.
And so they came, at a friend's behest.
Alfred has put a coat on.
Heroes once celebrated as saviors of Eorzea, brought low through treachery, their names blackened with royal blood. With memories of the lost and dreams of redemption, with hope yet in their hearts, they came.
Welcome to Ishgard.
To Ishgard, shining city on the mount, overlooking the dominion of Kurthus. A great and proud nation, devoted to Helone, the Fury, ruled by Thordan VII, Archbishop of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. The last bastion of the faith, her walls ever bristling with the sworn swords and spears of her 4 high houses. A land that after 1,000 years of war had forgotten what it was to be at peace. Through gates long closed, the warrior of light and her companions passed, entering at last a city whose history was written in blood. In the midst of the Dragonsong War they came, 3 weary travelers whose arrival would set in motion great change. Though none knew then how great.
Except the writers. From the memoirs of Count Edmond de Fontamp, Heavensward. So Edmond is going to be our narrator for a while. Greetings, Mistress Thornley. On behalf of House Fontamp, I bid you welcome to Asgard. My lord humbly requests your presence at his residence in the Pillars, if you would all come with me. Okay, so we have got, for the first time in hours, we've got a new Aetheryte to attune to. And we've got a new Ethernet to attune to as well. Right. So that's the Skysteel Manufactory. If you want to go and be a machinist, that's where you need to go. We do not wish to be a machinist. As you can see, it is a very, very impressive looking city. This is the Forgotten Knight in St. Valeroy's Forum. You'll come here a lot. Down here is the Brume, B-R-U-M-E, which are the slums. And there should be another Ethernet shard below us. Yeah, so this is where the this is basically the outside walls. So this bear these have borne the brunt of the big attack. And these are the pillars. If you wish to be an astrologian, then this needs to be your first port of call. You'll meet Jackie Lad and friends. At the can't remember what this one's called. Athenaeum Astrologicum. If you want to be a Dark Knight, you need to go up to there. I'm going to ignore you for now, Horsefont. Here's the cathedral. It is very, very impressive, as you'd kind of expect. You'll notice on the map there the vault. The vault was mentioned as being where the Eye of Nidhogg is secured. Man. It's a long way down. One more. Ooh, let's turn the steps here. And this is the jeweled crochet, which is the where the market board is, the retainers are, and there are some other markets here as well. Many of which will enable you to buy jewellery, equipment, and they will also allow you to buy gear that is over level 50. So we can actually buy gear upgrades. Bear in mind that whilst they may appear to be massive item level upgrades, they are not necessarily huge upgrades statistically, because generally speaking the normal quality versions are not. The HQ versions, on the other hand, always are. Right, have I missed? Oh, I have missed the tribunal. Yes, over there. That should be all of them. Yes, so we can now teleport out to Kurth Central Highlands via the Gates of Judgment if we want. We do not want. Not yet. Do. Okie dokie. The Warrior of Light and her brave companions walking the streets of Ishgard at last. What a glorious sight. I cannot tell you how long I have waited for this day. Allow me to present to you my family home, Forton Manor. I should like nothing more than to show you around, but everyone is gathered to receive you. Come, my friends, introductions must be made.
My lord, I have returned with the Scions.
I hope your journey was not too taxing.
So this is Edmont, the guy that was doing the narrating. He's got an amazing moustache.
I, Count Edmond de Fortom, do bid you welcome. As wards of House Fortom, you shall be afforded every courtesy. My home is your home.
My companions and I are deeply honored, Count Forton.
The honor is mine, Master Alfino. Consider it an expression of our gratitude for your service to Ishgard.
They're very forward-thinking, are the Forton?
Forgive me, my lord, but are you not concerned? To accept foreign guests at such a juncture, especially ones with our reputation.
Do not worry yourself on my account. 'Tis true that Ishgard's first thought has ever been the war effort, hence the closing of our borders, yet it is in troubled times most of all that men should seek allies, don't you think? Granted, my decision will have raised eyebrows in the vault and in the halls of the other high houses. But so long as you continue with your altruistic endeavors, I doubt my honored peers will feel moved to voice their concerns.
Then there is naught to fear. Though our numbers are much reduced, we are no less determined to carry on our work.
Full glad am I to hear it. But before you return to your labors, why not take a tour of the city? You would do well, I think, to acquaint yourselves with your new surroundings. After all, you may be here for some time.
About 2 years, yes. I forgot that we're going to tour. We could have done the Aetherite stuff then. Never mind. 96,000. It's a big chunk. So, Count Edmond, we've met. Atuarel and Emmanuelin are his 2 younger sons. Rochefort, obviously, is the eldest. And also, it gets us straight away in with that HQ gear, which is great. Although it looks silly, some of it. Though our friends in House Fortams have been generous enough to extend us their protection, we must take care not to impose too much on their hospitality. It is only proper that we learn about our new home, so that we might become more self-sufficient. It'll take a while to learn the lay of the land, but learn it we must. Then there's the markets and taverns. We'll need to know where to shop and where to hear small talk, which of course is Tataru's area of expertise. 'Twould seem a tour of the city is indeed in order. I thank you for your counsel, my lord. My companions and I shall of course do as you suggest. Very good. Then my manservant shall accompany you. He will be able to answer any questions you might have. Ah, but I grow forgetful in my dotage. There is something I must give you before we part. Their documentation is in order, I trust? Yes, my lord. Papers, please. I still find the camera panning a little bit jerky. But... menus. Those documents identify you as wards of House Fortemps. Given that our borders have remained closed for decades, many of my countrymen are unaccustomed to treating with foreigners. Should anyone happen to question your presence here, it may prove necessary to remind them that you remain under the protection of House Fortemps. But let us hope it shall not come to that. Rest assured that we shall do our utmost to avoid any situation which might compel us to invoke your name. Demajen, Tataru, the city awaits. Let's go! Nod. A respectful nod. Okay, so, tour time. As this is your first time in our fair city, pray permit me to show you to the Hoplan, from whence we may gaze upon the splendour of the Holy Vault. Though all other sights pale in comparison, 'tis only meet that you see it first. I shall then show you around the Jewelled Crozier, where you may purchase all manner of goods and services, before descending to Foundation's Aetherite Plaza. If there are no questions... So yes, we start off by heading through the architects, which are these statues. These are the founders of Asgard. And up to the vault. This area here is the Hoplan, so called because it looks like a Hoplan shield. The Hoplon, so there we go. So named for the bronze great shield borne by our nation's patron deity, that's Halone, is the largest plaza in Ishgard. The magnificent cathedral to the north is, of course, the Holy Vault. The vault is both Ishgard's seat of government and the residence of the Archbishop of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. Begging your pardon, the statues to the south, are they perchance Thorden's famed Knights 12? Knights 12, of course, in Final Fantasy generally implies Knights of the Round. That lovely Arthurian reference that they continue to make. They are indeed. Very good, Master Alphino. They are the fathers of Ishgard, the brave knights who joined with King Thordan I to put down Nidhogg and found this great nation. There's some story there that we're going to learn over the course of the expansion. By God, is there some story there. As is a city rich in history and tradition, and there is much you can learn by exploring the pillars, time permitting, of course. Now then, if you would follow me to the Jewelled Crozier, I shall introduce you to Mistress Elise, our master of the markets. There are a lot of things that you can go and see and do in Ishgard. That's the Scholasticate there. There are some quests available later on. And here is a lace. Well, you're clearly not locals or travelling peddlers, which makes you all... Hi. Ah, Ward of Heavensward. How very interesting. Count Edmund has granted us leave to remain in Ishgard for as long as we wish, which may be some time. Accordingly, we will have need of sundry goods, hence our desire to make your acquaintance. That is, of course, assuming you are content to accept the custom of foreigners. Should it be uncomfortable? Young sir, we do not discriminate in matters of money. If you have coin to spend, who are we to refuse it? Weapons, armour, accoutrement, medicine, materials, whatever you desire, it can be found here in the Crozier. Our merchants shall be more than happy to accommodate you, as you shall soon see. Our next destination is the Aetheryte Plaza in Foundation, if everyone's ready. Bye! I love how we just stand there. You can get down to Foundation through the end of here. Whoop. Can buy a lot of different types of potions there. Fieldcraft supply if you want to do some crafting, gathering. A variety of NPCs down here who you will need to deal with at various points. This guy sells dyes, he also sells various orchestrion rolls. If you are intent on filling up the orchestrion in your room, so you can see that Foundation is perpetually in need of repair. You can see the big grappling guns up there that they fire at Dravanians to ward off their attacks. And there we go. And here we have Foundation's Aetheryte Plaza. If you're yet to attune to the Aetheryte, it would be wise to do so now. we are going to take the upgrades and put it on straight away. It does look a little bit daft, it must be said, but it's a nice upgrade. And again, the same goes for the normal routine of melee stuff for the one quest and then caster stuff for the next quest. Well, caster and ranged. As for our next destination, mayhap we should decide together what else can be found nearby. The Skysteel Manufactory stands to the west. There our engineers conceive and manufacture weapons for use against the dragons. The Holy Stables, where chocobos are trained for war, also lie in that direction. These are the stables here. To the north and east can be found the congregation of our knights most heavenly, while to the south and east, well, it would be best if you avoided that area. That's the broom he's talking about there. And why is that? I fear our knights may not be able to ensure your safety in the lowest levels, Master Alphino. Hold your nose when you pass the broom, little lord. Delicate flower like you's like to wilt in our fumes. You misjudge me, sir, for I am no lord but a humble traveller. Come to see the sights, have you? Take a turn down the upland and go up at the statues. Bah! Well, if you've a mind to learn how the better half live, come and have a drink at the Forgotten Knight. If your nursemaid will let you. My humblest apologies, Master Alphino. Pray, pay that drunken lout no mind. Oh, but I must. I would not do so. It would not do to refuse such a heartfelt invitation. Yes, I simply must see this Forgotten Knight for myself. I trust you see the wisdom in this, Demajen. There are few sources of information more abundant than a bustling local hostelry. Not that I expect to hear any news of our missing comrades just yet. Nevertheless, who can say what we might learn of recent events? And I'm coming too. Yeah, so the local tavern, where you can pick up all manner of interesting pieces of information. There's two ways that you can get into the Forgotten Knight. There's the one from up above, and there is one down here. Well, let's say down. It's there. And here we have the Forgotten Knights. Got a ton of stuff here, including a guy that will sell you Dark Knight weapons. We've also got the Innkeep and some Clan Centurio stuff. That's for a second version of the Hunt. Must say, this is rather unusual. Not just one, but a whole party of fresh new faces in my tavern. We but recently arrived in Asgard and are eager to acquaint ourselves with her more notable establishments, Master Gibeon. Just Gibeon will do. I'm flattered you think so highly of my establishment. Can't promise it'll live up to your expectations, but if it's a decent food and drink you're after, you could do much worse. Judging by the number of customers I see, I suspect your fare is rather more than decent. Speaking of your clientele, I could not help but note a difference between those who frequent the upper and lower floors. Ah, spotted that, did you? Aye, up here you'll find peddlers, porters, off-duty knights and so forth, dropping in on the way to or from somewhere else. Regulars, maybe, but not locals. Folks from the Broom, they tend to congregate downstairs where we offer a menu more suited to their tastes. Cheaper meals, stronger spirits, all quality mind, but not the sort of stuff I'd recommend to yourselves. You speak of the lowest levels, yes. Why do they call them the Broom, if I may ask? Because when the weather's foul and the broom rolls in thick, it's the poor sods living at the bottom who have to deal with it. I see. So he's talking about the literal poor sods, the least well off that congregate down there, the poor, the needy, the homeless, the refugees, the ones that, well, not refugees because Asgard doesn't take in refugees, but the displaced. And it's not just the weather. When the wyverns broke through the woods and started tearing up the city, it was the Broom that got the worst of it, while the pillars enjoyed the protection of the high houses and the temple knights. More than a few people are still sore about that mind, which is why, considering your present company, I'd recommend to keep your wits about you if you mean to go below. Something sharp in your boot, just to be sure. So yeah, just because we've got the manservant with us. I shall take your words to heart, sir. Master Alphino, I think it would be best if we return to Forton Manor. You go on ahead without me. I'm staying for a drink or two. Mr. Toe, I'm afraid that is out of the question. My lord the Count would never forgive me if I abandoned one of his charges in such a place, least of all a maiden. What are you up to, Tataru? Look around, Alphino. The tavern's full of people whose business regularly takes them beyond the gates of judgment. With friends like that, I could practically live here and wait for the newest gossip to come to me. And that is pretty much what she will do. Indeed, but will you be safe here on your own? Oh, please. Do you know how often I looked after the waking sands and the rising stones by myself? If I had a gill for every unwelcome caller I've driven away, I'd be rich beyond my wildest dreams. I'll be fine. Not that I doubt the lady's knack for fending off unwanted advances, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let anyone lay an unwelcome hand on a patron in my establishment. That settles it then. Tataru, Demajen and I shall return to the manor for now. Contact me by link pearl if you require assistance. I will. Bye. Tataru, she's a feisty lady. You'll also notice over here, Sid and Real, who are a little bit brusque. They are important for the level 50 plus? Yeah, 50 plus stuff for Dark Knight. There we go, last vigil. Right, as we've had to several times in the past, we need to use a gate guard in order to get inside. Tell us then, Master Alphino, does Asgard meet with your expectations? That which I imagined pales in comparison to the reality. I felt the weight of 1,000 years of history with every step I took, and when those steps took me past the scars left by the wyverns of Foundation, I understood how easily that history could end in tragedy. The attack was devastating, the casualties unspeakable. The wyverns did not discriminate. Unarmed men and women, even children, were given no quarter. Sir Emmerich has ordered his knights to strengthen our defences, and each house has been called upon to lend what support it can. There's more to be done, yet, alas, able-bodied men and women are in short supply. Perhaps we could be of assistance, my lord? After all you've done for us, we would welcome any opportunity to repay your kindness. That is a most generous offer, Master Alphano. You are guests in my home, to whom I have extended my hospitality without obligation, let or lien. Nevertheless, Ishgard's need is great, and if you are willing to aid our cause, I cannot well refuse. Good. What would you ask of us? From what I've heard, you are an intelligent and persuasive young man. Such qualities may prove most useful to us in our efforts to secure provisions from foreign sources, identifying trustworthy suppliers, brokering contracts, and so on. As for you, Mistress Thornley, I would ask for no one better than a storied veteran such as yourself, a woman with the capacity to act swiftly and decisively when needed, to aid Artorel and Manolin in their duties. I beg your pardon? I am more than capable of carrying out my duty by myself. I have no need of our honoured guest's assistance. Now, be reasonable, brother. What manner of fool would say no when a famous hero offered to do his work? Hold your tongues. By the Fury, the two of you will conduct yourselves with dignity befitting your station, sir. Show Mistress Thornley the respect she deserves. This is the woman who slew Gaius van Belsar and some half-dozen primals besides. She is not here to steal your glory or serve as your errand girl. It makes a nice change that people actually recognise that realistically we probably shouldn't be doing people's errands by now. If you can pardon their impropriety, Mrs. Thornley, I'd be much obliged if you would lend my sons a helping hand. Go on then. My thanks. Fury willing, they may even learn something from you. There's a reasonable amount of character growth for the two of these, actually. Again, decent writing. And a lot of bowing. There's an awful lot of bowing. Manolin loves the idea of having a hero doing his going around with him. Artorel, not so much. And that's Honora, who is Manolin's servant, who's an intelligent and feisty lad. 'Twould seem we shall not want for employment over the coming days, though that was never in doubt. Our host's initial reluctance to accept my offer of aid was solely for appearance's sake. In truth, he is glad of this opportunity to put us to work. By granting us patronage, Hasfortom has taken a tremendous risk. Until we demonstrate our worth to Ishgard at large, the Count will face considerable opposition from his peers in matters great and small, and so he would have us publicly serve Ishgard while simultaneously keeping his sons in check. 'Tis an arrangement we may benefit from in unexpected ways. My own duties may feasibly bring me into contact with people who know something of our missing comrades, and as you go about helping our two lords with their various responsibilities, you will inevitably make new acquaintances in Ishgard, perhaps even new allies. Yes, the more I think on it, the more confident I am that by furthering their goals, we shall further our own. Even if you've got no intention of using any of these bits, they will sell quite well on the market board. So, Manolin. When a man like Lord of Manolin is in high spirits, you can be sure that trouble is in store. Shall we be off then, old girl? But where are my manners? Manolin de Fortomps, second son of Count Edmond de Fortomps. Trueborn, that is. Yes, I know what you're thinking, and you're absolutely right. What ill fortune to be born second in a society where the eldest inherits all. My brother would never cut me off, 'tis true, but who could be satisfied subsisting on a meagre allowance, forever overshadowed by his sibling? Not I, old girl, not I. Which is why I need your help to ensure that this business in the Sea of Clouds goes swimmingly, so that the tales of my great deeds can win me a place in the people's hearts, or, better yet, raise me higher in their estimations than Artorel. Ambitious, I grant you, but then I do have a legendary hero to do my bidding. Haha. Oh, don't look at me that way. I jest. Anyway, we are to aid the good men and women of House Helenar. They have ever been steadfast friends to our house, although they've fallen on hard times since the calamity, poor blighters. As for what precisely we will be doing, well, what fun would it be if I told you everything in advance? Just come along with me to the airship landing. We'll need to take the airship to Camp Cloudtop. So, the Artwell stuff will take us to the Sea of Clouds, which is one of the 2 potential starting zones. Artwell stuff, on the other hand... Sorry, did I say I meant Manolin? I'll constantly get confused between the two of these. Lord Artwell is less than eager to brief you on his mission. Let us begin anew, Mistress Thornley. I am Sir Arthuel de Fortomp, eldest son of Count Edmond de Fortomp. Bearing in mind that Haurchefant is not a legitimate son, which is why Manolin refers to himself as the second son, because Arthuel will inherit everything. Haurchefant, whilst amazing, and is a noble, he's not legitimate. You will forgive me of my outburst, I hope. I mean no disrespect. I merely consider myself equal to the duties entrusted to me, unlike some. Haurchefant has spoken of you often. If you are even half the woman he claims, I shall be glad to have you at my side. To the matter at hand, then, we will be assisting my esteemed compatriots of Houses Duvendé and Zemai. You are aware of our friendly rivalry, I take it? Aye, well, suffice it to say, the prospect of assisting said houses does not fill me with joy. However, it is the will of the Holy See that we set aside our differences at this crucial juncture, but we shall speak more of that anon. First, we must need secure transport to Falcon's Nest. Let's make for the Chocobo stables in Foundation. So we have two ways that we can go. We can go to Falcon's Nest, or we can go to the Sea of Clouds. We'll have to go to both before we can continue the story, so we will go to the one that is closest. Oh no, a gazebo. It's a little bit awkward to navigate at Asgard at times. Right, there's a Manolin and Onawa. These guys over here are to do with the place in the Sea of Clouds, the name of which I've forgotten. It'll come back to me. Are you ready to depart, madam? The airship bound for Camp Cloudtop will be leaving shortly. And this is our introduction to the Sea of Clouds.
upon an airship conceived within the fecund mind of Sid Garland, renegade prodigy of Garlemald, who had come to call Eorzea home. High into the heavens, where isles of earth and stone floated as clouds, a frontier the knights of Ishgard had scarce begun to explore. To a fledgling outpost, within the sea of clouds, where careworn scouts ever scanned the skies for winged shadows, she came.
Again, they had to get him to obviously do the voice acting twice for the gender. And here we are, the Sea of Clouds. Visually, I really like the Sea of Clouds. It is quite frankly beautiful, especially in some of its more interesting weather effects. The issue that I've got with the Sea of Clouds is that I suffer from vertigo. So it being very high and FF14 doing such a good job of demonstrating weight and mass to your character and depth of field, I sometimes suffer greatly in the Sea of Clouds. The heights and stuff. It's really weird getting motion sickness, etc. from a video game. It very rarely happens, but first time I played the Sea of Clouds, it was all like, I might turn back and do Falcon's Nest first. Awfully cold up here. I mean, Kurthus may not be blessed with the warmest weather in the world, but compared to this, it seems positively balmy. And of course, our hero's wholly unperturbed. You don't have to maintain that strong, silent persona all the time, you know. But it's what we do. Never mind. We need to find Lady Laniate. She's in charge of the garrison here. Oh, and when we find her, just follow my lead. Yes, excellent. Now, something that is going to take some getting used to is the fact that I can't fly here yet. Right, the chocobos here cannot fly. Right. Tune ourselves to the ether. I love these green crystals. Just like everything else in the game, up really close. The textures are a little bit off, but generally speaking. Oh dear. Run! Run faster! So of course all the mobs here are level 50 plus, and they do hit reasonably hard. Ooh, the map unveils in pieces here. So it looks like they haven't changed it in all zones, it's just the Realm Reborn zones. That's good, I like exploring. Right, Lenny eats. Mistress Thornley, welcome. I'm Sir Laniet de Halaneir, commander of the forces stationed here at Camp Cloudtop. Strange though it may sound, I've long dreamed of meeting you. I'm in your debt, you see, and shall ever remain so. Were it not for you, my younger brother Fransil would have been executed upon the word of a false inquisitor. In case it's been a long time since you played the kind of level 30 stretch, there's a little bit of a reminder there. Alas, a knight must go where duty demands, and thus I have been unable to seek you out. By the grace of Helone, I have been granted an opportunity to thank my brother Saviour in person, and to call upon her generous aid besides. Truly, I know not what I have done to deserve this double blessing. That's all right. Here we go. Ahem. 'Tis a pleasure to see you again, my Lady Laniet. You cut an elegant figure as always, a steel-clad rose, equally at home on a battlefield or in a ballroom. Lord Manlin, if it's not too much to ask, I should be grateful if you'd allow me to finish speaking with Mistress Thornley. Rebutted. Camp Cloudtop was established to provide early warning of impending Dravanian incursions. The high elevation afforded by the floating isles make it ideal for this purpose. Naturally, it also makes us a ready target for attack. We're not defenceless, however. The Protector, our largest and most advanced airship, is capable of downing all but the mightiest dragons. Alas, as you may have noticed, it is currently undergoing repair. What is worse, our efforts have been hampered by the indigenous beast tribe known as the Vanu Vanu, with whom we have had several skirmishes already. No beastman is a match for a man of Asgard. Bring me a birdman and I shall show him a thing or two. I fear much more may be asked of you in the days to come, Mistress Thornley. These are not actually an upgrade because we've already got the HQ level 52 ones. But again, they will sell well. While I understand Count Edmund's intentions, I'd rather not waste valuable time ensuring that the young lord doesn't get trampled underfoot. True, it is entirely possible that he may learn something from this experience, but if left to his own devices, I think it far more likely that he will make a mess of things. Tell him that I would like him to keep watch for Dravanian outflyers. Then, when you have a moment to speak with his manservant in private, make it clear that it is his responsibility to keep a manlin from shirking his duty. A request from Laniet? Why didn't she think to ask me in person? Surely she must see me standing here but a few yards away. Oh, never mind. What is it? A mission? Yes, of course. That's why I'm here. I shall do... excuse me. I shall do as my lady asks. Ah, Mistress Thornley. I do not believe I've properly introduced myself. My name is Onawar, and I serve at the pleasure of Lord Amanlin. Lady Laniet would have me accompany Lord Amanlin on his mission. Ah, I will understand completely. I will do my utmost to keep him out of harm's way. Onawar, or Onaroy, or however you pronounce his name, is an awesome little character. He is very much the sensible head, to contrast with the Manlane's kind of young, brash personality. Were he of another house, perhaps I would not feel obligated to go to such lengths to preserve his safety and dignity. In any case, I appreciate you speaking to him for me. It would seem he actually listens to you, at least more so than others. Or mayhap you're more skilled at this than most. I suspect you've had to humour your fair share of difficult men before. Yeah, tell us about it. Now that Amanlin is out of harm's way, we're free to discuss matters of actual importance, such as our struggles with the Vanu Vanu. We first encountered the Vanu several years ago when we'd just begun to explore the Sea of Clouds. After an exchange of pleasantries and gifts, we received permission to construct a permanent lookout post. There was peace between our peoples for half a year, until suddenly, for reasons unknown, their attitudes toward us changed. They began to attack our foraging parties without provocation, forcing us to rely more heavily on supplies flown in from Asgard. But words are no substitute for first-hand experience. Go and see Sir Marielle. She could use your assistance. Can't take off there were also quite a lot of side quests as well. This is Marielle. Mistress Thornley, I presume. Lady Laniette told me you were coming. I tell you've never faced a Vanu before. Well, spend enough time on patrol and you're sure to cross paths with them eventually. These birdmen are native to the Floating Isles. I say birdmen, but they're not at all like the Ixel, unless that Ixel's mother was a gigas, a giant. Here, let me mark several locations on your map. If you discover any Vanu in these areas, kill or drive them away. It should be noted that you can ride down this netting. It's also worth noting that there are two level, or the level 50 and level 52 quests that we can do for Paladin at this point. Standing watch. Ooh. So these are the Vanu birdmen. And they are worth a good chunk of XP if I remember correctly. Oh no, they're not. They're just worth normal XP, aren't they? Because they're quest mobs. It's the dungeon stuff that's worth the XP. And the quests themselves. These dodo mobs are like dodo mobs back in Lenosha. They have sleep. This way. And these are Pisa, or however you want to pronounce it. They're kind of cute and really annoying. Gelly cats are actually, I don't know whether you can see that, they are literally cats with wings. Well, they're wearing little vests with wings on. Yeah, they are basically wearing little vests with wings on. Ew. Yeah. Standing watch. You steel yourself for a mighty struggle, yet find no value lying in wait. That's probably because the game or the designers knew that you'd have to fight a ton of stuff to actually click the points. Vote. Very straightforward. Ugh. Don't look down. Yeah. The interesting thing about Heavensward zones is that they are designed for two purposes. First of all, they have to be designed for people that are confined to the ground, so you have to be able to access a ton of stuff just from the ground. But also, of course, they have to be interesting and fun and entertaining for people that have access to flying, because 3.0 introduced flying into the game. And I think very little epitomises that more than the Sea of Clouds, which is a lot like some of the Stormblood zones in that it's got a level over here which has got high level fates in that you can't even get to until later in the game. Finished with your patrol? Anything to report? Yeah, we ran into these big chunky birdmen thing. Heh, maybe it was too much to hope for a day without a skirmish. At least I can take solace in the fact that Helonius blessed us with a mighty ally. Level 54. Okay. Okay. That is going to do me for this session. What I'm going to go and do off stream is start the Dark Knight stuff and level up, and I'm going to try and get it to 54 actually, so that we can continue straight on from where we are. In fact, I'm even going to note down the amount of experience that we've got. 48,618. So it might be a day or two before where do we want to get foundation? Yeah, it might be a day or two to get me up to 54, but possibly not. To have the joys of Palace of the Dead, after all. In fact, I might just do Dark Knight leveling as a separate stream. That might be an idea. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I've just realised actually that I've forgotten to change the stream title, didn't I, for this? Probably still says Before the Fall. So have a look. Yes, it does. Oh well, never mind. I'll fix that later. But anyway, for now, if I can spell goodbye, it's goodbye from the newly revamped Demajen. Toodle pip, see you all soon.